In life, a person's character often reflects how their life unfolds. In the Liu Fam Tu Huan, it is said, all things change with the heart. The state of one's mind gives rise to one's circumstances. Different personalities shape different destinies. A person's emotional state directly influences their life. When the heart is restless, people are prone to impulsive actions, leading to unnecessary suffering. An unsettled heart gives rise to emotions. If you cannot control your emotions, they will inevitably overwhelm you, bringing prolonged distress. Hence, emotions are the most enticing temptations within us. To truly live a fulfilled life, one must master their emotions. A story of wisdom. There was once a man of limited intelligence who lived in poverty. However, fortune smiled upon him. One day, heavy rain caused a wall in his home to collapse, revealing a jar of gold. Overnight, he became wealthy, yet, due to his lack of intelligence, he remained insecure about himself. Determined to find clarity, he sought advice from a Zen master. The master said, "You have wealth, others have wisdom. Why not use your money to buy their wisdom?" Taking the advice, the man traveled to the city and approached a monk, asking, "Can I buy your wisdom?" The monk replied, "My wisdom is expensive. Each piece of advice costs 1,000 silver taels." The man agreed, saying he would pay any price for wisdom. The monk then shared a single sentence: "When faced with difficulty, do not rush to act. Step forward 3 steps, then step back 3 steps." Though skeptical, the man decided to trust the monk. The monk reassured him, "Go home. If you find my advice worthless, you need not return. But if it proves valuable, come back and pay me." That night, the man returned home to find his wife in bed with another man. Enraged, he grabbed a knife, ready to strike. Suddenly, he recalled the monk's words. He stepped forward 3 steps, then back 3 steps, repeating this 3 times. At that moment, the man lying beside his wife awoke and exclaimed, "Son, what are you doing at this hour?" Recognizing the voice, the man froze. It was his own mother. Shocked, he realized that without the wisdom he had purchased, he would have committed an unforgivable act. The next morning, he hurried to pay the monk, grateful for the life-saving advice. A lesson for life. In life, we often encounter unpleasant situations, conflicts with colleagues or clients at work, family disputes with spouses, children, or parents, or misunderstandings over love or benefits with friends. Even trivial matters can stir our emotions. However, no emotion lasts forever. They eventually fade. Therefore, when problems arise, control your emotions. Avoid impulsive actions, harsh words, or extreme reactions. Learn to restrain yourself. Only then can you navigate life with wisdom and peace. Temperament and its influence on life. Temperament directly affects each of us, accompanying us throughout our lives. The consequences of one's temperament are significant. There's a saying, the more impatient a person is, the less wisdom they possess. An irritable temper harms health, while a gentle disposition nurtures blessings. Temperament and fortune are like a pair of scales. When one increases, the other decreases. Mastering your temper is true wisdom. Take the example of Zheng Guofan. In his youth, he had a volatile temperament, often quarreling over trivial matters, which alienated those around him. After experiencing a political downfall and being stripped of his military command, he returned to his hometown, where he continued to vent his frustrations, even scolding his siblings and household staff. It wasn't until a close friend intervened that he began to reflect on himself. He realized that many of his problems were not solely the fault of others, but stemmed from his own shortcomings. For those who struggle in life, their challenges often have roots in an irritable temperament. Upon returning to public service, Zheng Guofan transformed. He became more composed, humble, and understanding. This change not only improved his relationships, but also marked the revival of his career. Eventually, he rose to prestigious positions, becoming Marquis of Yiyang and holding high offices such as the Viceroy of Liangjiang and the Viceroy of Jili. As the saying goes, when the heart is calm, everything falls into place. But when anger flares, it's like a toxic fire, harming others without benefiting oneself. The blessing of a good temper. Fortune resides in a good temperament. A person who can control their anger possesses strength greater than that of conquering a fortress. Regardless of one's natural disposition, the ability to pause and think during moments of anger can turn ordinary individuals into ones who lead peaceful, fulfilled lives. In the family, having a spouse with a good temperament is one of life's greatest blessings. When a couple lives harmoniously, the entire household enjoys peace, and harmony leads to prosperity. It not only minimizes conflicts, but also serves as a powerful form of education for children. A mother with a calm temperament fosters emotional stability in her children. A father with a composed demeanor gives his children a sense of security. These subtle influences nurture kind and balanced souls in the next generation. A good temper is an invaluable asset in life. By avoiding unnecessary conflicts with others, one naturally opens up smoother paths in life. Building harmonious relationships and fostering goodwill leads to a fulfilling and meaningful existence. Cultivating temperament. Developing a good temperament is not just about understanding others, but also about being forgiving toward oneself. If you can't control your emotions, you cannot take control of your life and will become a slave to your feelings. As the legendary Thai figure White Dragon King once said, "Many people come to me asking about their careers, family harmony, children, or relationships. The answer often lies in their ability to master their emotions and temper. A calm heart leads to success, love, and happiness." In essence, nurturing a good temperament is not only the foundation of personal well-being, but also the key to harmonious relationships and a fulfilling life. The power of temperament. A key to true happiness. White Dragon King once posed a simple yet profound question. Do you have a good temper? His advice was clear. As long as your temperament is good, everything else will follow suit. A calm and composed temperament not only attracts blessings but deepens them. If you want to know whether someone is fortunate, just observe their temper. When temper flares, blessings dissipate. Those with good temperaments are gentle, approachable, and well-loved wherever they go. In contrast, those with bad tempers, irritable, abrasive, or unreasonable, tend to drive others away. The value of a good temper. A good temper is not only essential for maintaining physical health, but also for nurturing the soul. Life is full of frustrations and conflicts that can harm both body and mind. However, learning to manage anger and dissolving negative energy with patience and kindness can make life significantly brighter. When we cultivate a good temper, we learn to appreciate and cherish what we have, paving the way to happiness. There's a fable about a man who, whenever he got angry, would run 3 laps around his property. Over time, his land and wealth expanded, yet he kept this habit. One day, his grandson asked, "Grandfather, no one owns more land than you do. Why do you still run when you're angry?" The old man replied, "When I was young, every time I felt anger, I ran around my small property and thought to myself, my home and land are so modest, how can I have time or the right to be angry? That thought always calmed me, and I focused on working hard instead. Now that I'm old and my property is vast, I think, my home and land are so large, why waste time on petty disputes?" And the anger disappears once again. This story illustrates a profound truth. Victory comes from tolerance, and failure arises from anger. The wisdom of contentment. Only those who know contentment can live with peace of mind. Otherwise, no amount of wealth or success will bring true joy or tranquility. Wang Yangming famously said, "A narrow mind is the root of misfortune, while a broad heart is the gateway to blessings." When anger takes hold, blessings fade away. To preserve fortune, you must first learn to control your anger. Restraining anger is already half the battle won. A good temper not only attracts wealth and prosperity, but also welcomes peace and happiness. Temperament shapes your life. Luck, in essence, is a form of energy. When this energy is filled with kindness rather than resentment, everything around you becomes a source of support. Positive events naturally follow. The law of attraction teaches that everything in your life is drawn by the energy you emit. A person who is generous and gentle, radiating warmth like the sun, will attract positivity and goodness. Your temperament ultimately determines how life treats you. As the saying goes, if you are right, there is no need to be angry. If you are wrong, you have no right to be angry. Master your temperament, and you'll unlock the door to a life filled with peace, prosperity, and joy. Mastering anger, a path to peace and prosperity. In life, strive to control your temper. Use tolerance and understanding to resolve conflicts, and you'll see things shift positively. Being forgiving to others is, in fact, being kind to yourself. People with worse tempers often attract thinner blessings, while those with better tempers accumulate greater fortune. The ancients had a saying, as long as you have a good temper, everything will turn out well. A person's success, wealth, or career stability is closely tied to their temperament. The more irritable a person is, the weaker their fortune becomes. Conversely, the calmer they are, the more stable their destiny grows. Your temper shapes your fate. Every bad temper comes with consequences you must bear yourself. The Book of Han aptly states, "Harmony brings blessings, while discord invites disaster." The perils of anger. When anger takes over, we lose rationality, often leading to actions with grave consequences. Take the example of Chu Juan-gong, ruler of the Zhao state during the chaotic spring and autumn period. Although his state was small, it was recognized among the feudal lords, and he could have enjoyed a life of prosperity. However, his bad temper destroyed everything. One day, while strolling in the courtyard, he noticed water stains on the ground and erupted in anger. A servant explained that a visiting envoy from Jin had spilled wine and urinated there during a banquet. In truth, the servant fabricated this story out of spite, as his prior request for a reward had been denied. Without investigating further, Chu Juan-gong ordered the envoy's arrest. Upon hearing of the impending punishment, the envoy fled back to Jin. Infuriated, Chu Juan-gong struck his hand violently on a stove, causing severe burns. His injuries became infected, and he succumbed to them shortly after. As the saying goes, a small spark can ignite a prairie fire if left unchecked. Anger resolves nothing. It only exacerbates situations and creates impasses. Every time we lose control of our temper, we push our lives deeper into despair. A lesson from nature. In the Amazon River basin, there exists an aggressive fish known as the piranha. Despite its ferocity, it is often defeated by the diminutive needlefish. When pursued, the needlefish hides in tree hollows and taunts the piranha. In its rage, the piranha charges, attempting to swallow the needlefish, but its mouth gets stuck in the hollow. Unable to eat or escape, the piranha eventually starves to death. This story is a powerful reminder. Anger is a trap. It blinds us, leading to actions that harm ourselves more than anyone else. Learning to manage your temper is not only a skill, but a way to cultivate peace, fortune, and happiness in life. The greatest wisdom, calm temperament, and a peaceful mind. In Buddhism, it is said, anger burns the forest of merits. When the fire of anger flares up, all virtues and blessings are scorched. Failing to control anger gradually depletes all the fortune in one's life. Only by maintaining emotional stability, practicing self-restraint, and staying calm in the face of adversity can blessings flourish and the path of life expand. Temperament determines destiny. As Tai Jen Dan once said, "A rough heart and clumsy mind cannot accomplish great things. A peaceful heart and calm mind attract countless blessings." A bad temper acts as an obstacle on the road of life, while a good temperament becomes the driving force behind success. In history, the contrasting stories of Huang Fushi and Buidou during the Tang Dynasty illustrate this vividly. Huang Fushi, talented but ill-tempered Huang Fushi was a skilled minister, but his short temper led to impulsive actions. For instance, he once destroyed a beehive out of anger after being stung or bit his son's hand for writing a character incorrectly. This erratic temperament hindered his career. Despite his talents, he was demoted, lived in poverty, and eventually died in solitude, buried quietly on the outskirts of his hometown. Buidou, gentle, humble, and successful. In contrast, Buidou was known for his gentle demeanor and humility. Even after facing setbacks, he retained his influence in the court. He avoided conflicts and used tolerance and understanding in dealing with others. When he asked Bai Jui to compose an inscription for a temple he funded, Huang Fushi grew enraged. Instead of retaliating, Buidou personally visited Huang Fushi to request his contribution and later sent over 1,000 silk pieces as a gesture of gratitude. His patience and kindness earned him widespread admiration. After his passing, Buidou was posthumously honored as Grand Tutor and enshrined in the temple of Emperor Xianzong, becoming a shining example in history. Character shapes fate. As the saying goes, the best is someone with talent and no faults. The second is someone with talent but flaws. The worst is someone with no talent and great flaws. A person enslaved by emotions, no matter how talented, will struggle to avoid failure. Only by mastering their temper, practicing tolerance, and maintaining composure can one live freely and confidently in the world. A good temperament is the strongest calling card of a person. A talented individual with a kind temperament is truly exceptional. A wise person with calmness will have clear thoughts. The greatest wisdom in life does not lie in power or wealth, but in maintaining a peaceful mind and a stable temperament. By not succumbing to anger, everything becomes clearer, life becomes lighter, and blessings naturally follow. When we are young, filled with passion, we often think that achieving great feats is the only way to live a meaningful life. But as we grow older and go through many ups and downs, we come to understand that only with the calmness of a sage can we truly thrive. At the age of 22, a young man founded a plastic factory in the Yangtze River area and quickly received orders. However, after the products were completed, the partner canceled the contract due to personal reasons. The young man was furious and wanted to argue directly, but after thinking it over, he restrained his anger and brought the products to the partner, hoping to find another opportunity. Although the result didn't change, his tolerance moved the other party and they introduced him to many new clients. In the office of this businessman, there is always a proverb hanging on the wall: stand on high ground, rely on stability, and move towards vastness. His generous conduct was not only a work principle but also a source of pride for his success. In one of his books, he recorded a story about a manager in his company. This manager, during negotiations, had an argument with a client that ruined a contract. After the incident, he worried about being punished. However, instead of reprimanding him, his leader calmly asked him to learn from the experience and prepare better for the future. This tolerance moved the manager, and he worked hard to eventually win back the contract. Looking back on the life of this businessman, whether dealing with clients or subordinates, he always maintained a calm attitude and rarely lost his temper. His good temperament helped him build many valuable relationships. Even at the age of 95, he continued to achieve success in business. There is a saying, in work, one cannot be lax. In dealing with people, one must be kind. A person with a gentle temperament tends to meet with good fortune. Even when stepping into the darkness, they can turn the smallest light into a sky full of stars. The more serene the temperament, the broader the career. Remaining calm and rational in the face of challenges allows one to seize opportunities. A good temperament also leads to better relationships. Treating others with tolerance and kindness earns respect. The more stable one's temperament, the better their health. A broad and optimistic heart helps a person maintain vitality even as time passes. As the saying goes, a good temperament is the universal ticket to life. If a person is calm, everything flows smoothly like the spring breeze. The gentler the temperament, the happier the family. A bad temper is like a contagious disease. The first people affected by a bad temper are often those closest to us. Psychology has identified a phenomenon. A father who is reprimanded at work, when he returns home, may yell at his child who is playfully jumping on the sofa. The angry child kicks the cat that is playing nearby. The frightened cat runs into the street, and just as a truck drives by, the driver swerves to avoid the cat, but accidentally injures a child on the sidewalk. A bad temper can easily influence those around us, and we often have the habit of venting our negative emotions on our loved ones. In a family, if one person has a bad temper, the whole family becomes unsettled. Either everyone gets caught up in that anger, or they become quiet and withdrawn. There are 3 girls. All of them had good temperaments and built their careers with their own hands, but their lives turned out very differently. The eldest and youngest married kind, gentle men. They both had 2 daughters who now live in big cities. Their children are lively, lovely, always in high spirits, and seem to never age. On the other hand, the husband of the second daughter had a very bad temper. He frequently beat their son from childhood into adulthood. As a result of the frequent beatings, the son became withdrawn, unable to speak up, and lacked any manly qualities. He now works in the countryside, refuses to call his father by name, and even denies him as his father. His wife constantly argues with his father and insists that their daughter must call him grandfather before receiving any money. The wife herself has a stubborn temperament and refuses to back down. Every time she's scolded, she loudly argues back. Their daughter grew up in this environment and became very withdrawn. The second daughter has aged greatly from constantly worrying about the family. Every time she advises her husband to calm down, she only hears him respond, "I see them doing things to annoy me, so I pick a fight just to vent." Thus, the family continues to spiral into conflict, dragging everyone deeper into despair. A bad temper is essentially an act of selfishness. Even though it's clear that the situation could be resolved with calmness, one still chooses to lash out to satisfy their own emotions. How can there be happiness in a family with such selfishness? In families like this, daughters either feel embarrassed by the family conflicts, unable to hold their heads high, or they are influenced by bad temper and spread their frustration everywhere, causing more trouble. A person with a bad temper can truly drag the whole family into the abyss. The smaller the temper, the better the health. Negative emotions are a form of hidden cancer. The pressures, disappointments, and anxieties that accumulate over the years, even though you may forget them, your body does not. Modern medicine increasingly proves that many diseases are closely related to negative emotions. In the book Deadly Emotions, the author cites many studies about the relationship between emotions and illness. For example, panic attacks can lead to heart valve issues, anxiety can cause irritable bowel syndrome, frequent anger or hostility can lead to hypertension and coronary artery disease. Emotions like hatred, sorrow, inability to forgive, and self-loathing can lead to autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and multiple sclerosis. Repressed anger can cause tension, chronic headaches, back pain, temporomandibular joint disorder, and fibromyalgia. Studies show that emotions harmful to the immune system include anger, sadness, fear, depression, hatred, suspicion, and emotional instability, such as arguing in summer and depression in winter. People with a bad temper are more likely to become angry and damage their health. It is not about controlling health with food or supplements, but about controlling your temper. Start by building harmonious relationships with yourself, with your parents, children, leaders, colleagues, and mastering your emotions. When your mind is calm and your relationships are harmonious, illness will stay away. There are three things in life: your own affairs, other people's affairs, and the affairs of heaven. Love yourself, deal with your own affairs calmly, and interfere less with the affairs of others or of heaven. This is a lifelong lesson. What is the most important thing in life? It's not career, family, or health. A bad temper can ruin all these important things. It can destroy your whole life. No one is responsible for your life but you. And lashing out is the greatest act of self-destruction. Life is like a suitcase. When necessary, you can pick it up. When not needed, put it down. If you don't put it down and keep dragging the heavy luggage, you won't be able to live lightly and peacefully. Life is limited. Only when you know how to admit your mistakes, respect, and forgive can you be accepted by others. Let go of your temper and you will be free. Reconcile with yourself. Reconcile with the world. Cultivating a good temper will naturally bring good things into your life without needing to call them. Nourishing life begins with calming the soul, which helps nourish energy, strengthen the body, repel illness, and prolong life. Energy is the basic element that sustains life. When energy is full, the body is healthy. When energy is diminished, the body weakens. And when it is exhausted, life ends. When you are young, energy is abundant. You live in balance, and there are no worries about poverty. But when you enter middle age, energy gradually diminishes, and what you earn cannot cover what you spend. As time passes, the deficiency grows larger and the body weakens. If you do not know how to control your desires, the body will deteriorate even faster. Life faces many setbacks because we still hold on to our temper. A bad temper makes others suffer, and it also makes oneself unhappy. When there is a temper, good fortune dares not come near. Only when the temper is gone does good fortune appear. Do not let your temper block your good fortune. Everyone has a temper. Expressing it is instinctive, but controlling it is true strength. A person with real strength focuses on improving their abilities instead of expressing their temper. They know how to control and use their temper to earn the respect of others. Throughout life, we succeed through gentleness. Love requires patience, and temperament is an important consideration. A hot-tempered person who lacks self-control will not accomplish great things. A person with a calm and peaceful mind will naturally attract good fortune. People who are quick to anger are like a barrel of explosives, ready to explode with the slightest provocation. No matter how lucky they are, they can easily be pushed away. A bad temper is the root of disaster, while a gentle temper is the source of good luck. Only when you cultivate your temperament will luck knock on your door. If you are right, you don't need to be angry. If you are wrong, you have no right to be angry. This is true wisdom. Unfortunately, most people do not understand this. Most people have reasons to get angry. Even when the fault lies with others, the anger comes from within themselves. It's not that you should never get angry, as being human means we can't avoid it entirely. But at least, learn to control your anger, avoid getting angry without reason, and minimize it as much as possible. A single outburst can undo all your efforts. No matter how kind you have been to others, just one outburst can render all your previous kindness meaningless. Good fortune and luck will gradually drift away from you. Anger affects not only yourself but also your family and loved ones. No matter how forgiving they are, patience has its limits. There are many examples in life like this, and the lessons always remind us that we need to control our temper in order to preserve our happiness and health. However, too many people do not value this. It is clear that life can be better, yet they choose to live at a mediocre or even worse level. They justify themselves with various reasons. If you have the courage to justify yourself, why not try changing your temper? If others are wrong, why let your temper make your life worse? Anger harms the body. All diseases stem from energy, and all illnesses begin in the mind. Negative emotions will gradually infiltrate your body, like an apple that looks fresh on the outside but begins to rot on the inside. At first, it may not be obvious, but as it accumulates to a certain point, it often marks the beginning of a serious illness. In life, the most important thing is to have a healthy body to welcome good fortune. Often, a person's anger can be controlled and adjusted. Don't punish yourself for the mistakes of others. Don't let anger linger overnight. Keep your heart free from anger. Hot-tempered, rough individuals rarely accomplish anything great. A calm and peaceful person will naturally attract good moments. The gentler your temper, the deeper your blessings. When you train and correct your temper, luck will find its way to you, and that is the beginning of happiness. Throughout history, gentleness and composure have symbolized those with fortune. Hot-tempered, quick-to-anger people often have no luck. In the Taishan Ganyingtian, there is a saying, "Disasters and blessings have no fixed door. It is man who opens it himself." This means that blessings and disasters are not predestined, but are the results of our own actions. The good and bad fortune in life may appear unpredictable on the surface, but in the end, it is the result of our own cultivation. By maintaining your temper, you will hold on to luck and accumulate good fortune. From today, strive to become someone with a good temper. Replace calculation with tolerance, and replace anger with calmness. Only when you keep your heart joyful, free from sorrow and anger, can you achieve ease and tranquility in life.